Good morning, everybody. Climber here. Good morning, Simple Stocks Discord. How's everybody doing? I thought I would record a morning morning notes video. And again, a very active week. A lot is happening. And what you're seeing on the screen is basically I recapped the VIX action closing Tuesday afternoon low was right around here. I think it was in the 17s. What it's been doing right now is that it dips below this red line. This red line is very meaningful to me. It never failed me before. When the market trades below it, it's a different regime, 18 to say about 16.6. If it's below 16.6, it's a completely different regime. But if it's above 18, I do different things, and I view the market in a different way. Even though it shows me spikes and rallies, I interpret those rallies in a much different way than the VIX were, below 18. So that's why I keep starting videos on this one. We have absolutely caught the trend on this thing. I have been talking about this basically since late summer. I have been saying that we are much more likely to go up than down on the VIX. We have been right for over 2 months now. And you could have, just by looking at the VIX thing, you could have literally do a lot of range bound trades, which I did. Okay, so that's that. And I want to switch to Bitcoin and some of the other risk assets first before we start going through the other market stuff. Bitcoin had this incredible, what seemed to be like pretended to have like an incredible, lifetime opportunity buying thing, and then failed it in a really big way. That was a really interesting moment. I'm like, okay, so you put a candle like this, you can't see one anywhere near, the recent memory, and then it fails that, and then it launches from that one after a lower low, launches another rally, and that fails really badly. So what it's trying to do today is that, by the way, that trend line that you're looking at, not trend line, my little channel you're looking at, I did not remove it because I know for a fact that the top of those become meaningful. And take a look at what's happening here with the Bitcoin now. It just gives me a visual idea, visual help with the candle bodies and everything. It really tells me what's happening. And this is what's been happening this week. They really hugged that area. So what we're seeing right now is that with this price action that I'm looking at, Bitcoin will try to launch another one probably today. This rough area, this 111.7, and then another area here, 113. I'm going to call this the top, basically 114. If Bitcoin sees another wall here, we're going to dip inside of this thing, and I think the market will dip. Not because of the Bitcoin, but I think market will be in sync with it. I think that's a better way to say it. So I'm watching Bitcoin very closely in the next 24 hours. That's number one thing. The other one is gold. As you guys know, this was the chart that I posted the other day in Discord. The gold was right in this candle, top of this candle. It was 43.86, and I posted this chart with this line, with this fib, with these new fibs and this red line, and ended up being a double top area there. And I posted the chart with these circles, with these 3 circles. When it was right here, I said the first lower circle is pretty much going to be the first one. And again, like none of this action was here. So imagine this is being told you right here. Okay, so you got to look at it under that context. And then I said I'm just not sure which one will be the next one. Normally in the normal order of things, this should have been the next one. But it completely sold off, came to this one. So we basically got the 1618 on the bearish retracement, but we are waiting for the bullish retracement, which may or not come anytime soon. But just by looking at the volatility, the risk appetite is down. And looking at Bitcoin, looking at gold, looking at some of the other commodities. Now, this would be a good segue to jump to crude. Crude. One of the things that I said in one of the last videos and in Discord conversations, that it was a long right here, which we did go along. And in the same video, if you guys remember, I said do not add to your longs if it spikes past this green line. This was a clear warning in that video. I told you to go long, but I told you to not at your longs to take profits or just wait. Okay, I didn't take profit. I just waited. So I'm one of those that I listened myself. I didn't take profit here. You could have, you should have, because my trade was 35 or 37 days out. I was waiting for this, and I got it. And then it dips. What happened is that what I didn't realize is that yesterday, White House started talking about additional sanctions, and I have a feeling that someone already knew about it, got the sniff, because it was very odd to me for crude, and believe me, this is one of the things that I know best in the market, much better than some of the other futures. I've been trading this for 12 years. That it was odd to me that it didn't actually hit 54, 55 area, this line. It's kind of interesting for it to come here and then turn around. So clearly some people knew that the sanctions news was going to come out, and they started buying this. Now, having said all of that, anytime crude is below 60, it's a very aggressive buy by professional traders, by pros who are actually in the crude business, I mean. So it's no surprise to me that it's so big buying here. And if you took the long with us, either the call debit spread or the call debit spread with the sold naked puts, or the spread support to finance the long, you should be out. You should have been taking profit at 62. Don't get greedy on that, okay? But again, this is not part of the risk asset, kind of thing. This is really what's happening with the sanction thing. Then we got all the other guys like the MSTRs that you can teach a downtrend, lesson charting on them, or even the other ones, which I call the crazies, so everything, whatever you look at, just doesn't look good. There are less buyers out there. Let's put it that way. Let's not just say that people are trying to short, but there are definitely less buyers out there as of now. So if we look at the markets, let's jump in the markets. This is RTY. RTY is being RTY. It's as you guys know, it's one of the craziest tickers you can trade in the stock market, along with all of its cousins, RUT and IWM. This is the daily. It's really interesting. I would be really intrigued if RTY actually closes the week under 24.52. That would send some shockwaves. It would be a really interesting development. Like, it's not like it would lose its luster. RTY can come down here, should come down here, and then make higher highs. But in this price action, it's already this is a really interesting weakness. I know most of you guys won't see this as weakness, but I am telling you that it is weakness. But if it comes down here, I think that would be a really firm test of that 24.17 floor, which I thought it would be the actual floor, when other people were arguing that this was the floor or this was the floor, which I didn't agree with. And so that's what I'm watching for. Close the week above 52, above 74, which is another statement, or inside of 52 and 17, which would be completely different to me. This would be an open some new longs for me and finance them with some sold stuff in this area, either in this box or in this box. Okay, that's what I'm planning to do. On the futures, these are the dailies. We are still inside of that terrible Friday, 10-10, October 10 Friday. I would be really surprised also, again, same. I would be really surprised that if they don't try to spike above that day and then close the week. That will also send a different message. It would be a very different message. And when we look at the monthly, I think I talked about this in the last video. We are only few days of trading away from the end of the month, and the monthly is a doji. Open and close are identical. Oh, as we're speaking, it just, the color just flashed red there. So that's what we're looking at, and if comparatively speaking, in between the two, Nasdaq is in definitely worse shape. then ES is finding help from the sectors, so it's able to hold up even when the mega caps are not doing great. But Nasdaq is really relying on them now. Netflix strike 1, Tesla strike 2, IBM strike 3. So how many more strikes is it gonna take for mega caps to some more of them to follow them? Okay, so think that way. And even when you see rallies, just try to put it in perspective. Okay, if you go to the 5-minute, or turn on some indicators here. All right, so the market got weaker since I started recording, and I want to make a few interesting points here. This is the most important chart to me, this single ES chart. It's the two. So this big one is the 1010, and this is the Thursday. This is the Thursday drop. This looks like to me a kind of a like a wounded animal, that hit in a barbed wire in a field, and then just trying to get out of that area. This is what it looks like to me. Sorry for the graphic look, but this to me, this whole price action to me is something that's in pain, it's trapped, and it's trying to find its way out. Okay, that's how I am exactly trading it. I got in some MES here. I got assigned some MES. I always have some sold puts in the futures. To this day, I got assigned in a really good way. It wasn't much lower than, so the market closed here, and I think I was up here, right around here. So it was an immediate bounce, and I have been selling calls against those MES. I got out a bunch of them here. I kept selling. So the round 4 was yesterday. I covered them again. I'm up again from those entries, still up, not again, but I was looking to sell again last night. It didn't give it to me. It just wasn't there. The expected move on the ES was showing another I thought it was bullcrap. It was showing 27. This morning it went up to 39. This will eventually be in the 40s today, I have no doubt. So they're fleecing people again. So anyways, that's my play. I have been staying long and selling things against it, and I have been also selling puts every time market gives me these long wicks. Let's switch to 15. The 15-minute chart is really interesting for today and for end of the week. If I really pinch this chart, what do you guys see? What do you guys see? This is yesterday's wick. No, I'm sorry. This is yesterday's session wick, like 145-ish, 66.90. What was that? If I ask you guys what was the significance of 66.90 last night, how many of you guys would have gotten it? Let me give you a little clue. The color turquoise or aqua. Look at this box. That was the box we drew at the Sunday open after that freak out Friday. Okay. And I said this box will be very significant for the market to continue higher. So yesterday they tagged that the top of that box is 66.90. One more time. What that also means is that also takes us back all the way back here. Again, this wick is yesterday, okay? Yesterday afternoon. That takes us all the way back to early September. As much as you guys think, I know there's a lot of you, we're having private conversations in Discord about as much as you guys think that the market is rocketing and it keeps going higher, the market is trading at the level of mid to early September. Still, okay? Maybe mid-September, not early, I'm sorry. The mid-September. So this is an enormous consolidation with an incredibly broad range, okay? And this could become a mountaintop, or this could become an area that they build a really good floor for future, which is probably what we're doing for the long term, okay? Going back to the price action today, I talked endlessly about two of my historical fib levels. Mark these things on your charts. If you still don't have them, you're flying blind. 67.26 and 67.75. If we are below 67.26, I'm going to continue to look at yesterday's lows. If we are above 67.26 but below 56, I'm going to consider that a chop zone. That has been the chop zone. Market will do absolutely nothing between 26 and 56. It doesn't know what to do in that area. It proved it to us. If we are above 56, I'm going to continue to look at breaking above 75. And those are the levels. So above 56, above 75, or below 26 is what you should be looking at. And the way to kind of trade this to me is every time I see a low, I sell something a few days out. I cover the covered calls, and I just wait. So, and it's been working great. Those micro contracts, the leftover ones, not the ones that I took profit, the outright contracts, just the covered calls made me about 3K, and I'm working with 5 micro contracts. And the contracts themselves went as high as $1,800. I didn't take profit because, you know, now my cost basis is way lower than my assignment, which was, I think the assignment was like 6,600 or, you know, 59.90, something like that, 65.90, something like that. So the market has a lot of downside to go before it can even start to think, kind of hurt me. So you can do range bound stuff. You can stay long and then finance them, and you can play the retracements. That's what I'm doing. I am in both sides of the market and still playing the retracement. Nothing has changed for me, and I recommend you guys that you don't pick a side and you play both sides of the market as well. Okay. NQ. Yesterday I said something about NQ. I said be very careful about that Magic's 24,700. When I wrote those notes, it was here. The market was trading. The market was trading here, somewhere in this range, and then the market goes and hits that almost to that 24,700 range. So again, that number was coming from my April correction fib. Where did they buy the market? They bought the market right above that fib. Now they got one more shot at this NQ. This does not have the help of all the XL sectors like ES does. They got one more shot at this. If they come back to the monthly open or prior day low, this area, and then don't show us an incredible bounce that goes above this structure, NQ is going to be lower. We are going lower, much lower in the NQ, and the immediate lows will be this range. They're going to probably slow down at the prior all-time highs, the September all-time highs. But if that doesn't hold next week, NQ will be down to, where is that, 24,300 areas next week. Okay, so this is kind of like the last gasp in my opinion. So keep a close eye on that one as well. This video is getting long, but I don't mind it. It's early in the day. You guys will have time to watch this pre-market. Apple is still doing its thing. Expect Apple to hold this aqua color box and expect Apple to be in this range. If the market collapses, that's a different story. But if it doesn't, don't short Apple. It doesn't make sense to me shorting Apple here. There's much better praise out there. Google, I still think Google, the comment that I made, one of the videos, it was in this area. Oh, sorry, something fell over. All right. The comments that I made in the last video was, and it actually was it here or here? I think it was here. We got the weakness that I talked about. So I don't know what Google's going to do going forward here, but I don't expect Google to continue to rally. So I'm keeping my sentiment the same on that one. I think it'll stay weak. I think there's better things for people to buy, and Microsoft is certainly one of them. So we have endlessly talked about it. So Microsoft beating this high here, the 530, and closing dailies above it is very important, and Microsoft closing dailies below 518 is also very important. And then on a close below 518, you're watching 510 and then the 505. Okay. Meta, so the Amazon and Meta are basically the same thing to me because of what they have done. The charts are almost identical, the recent price action. These little rallies were, to me, take profit rallies, not go long for a swing. So far I have been right about that. I sort of purposefully missed the bottom on this thing. I'm like, I don't trust this because of what futures were doing. Really, I didn't want to get long these guys. So I'm keeping the same sentiment. I'm thinking maybe they'll come back to that base area, each of their bases. So I'm watching for that for the swing. Netflix, we know the story. I'm not surprised. That stock should go to 1,000. I think it will eventually. Nvidia is a really interesting one. It's probably with Microsoft, along with Microsoft, it is the more tradable one. I would expect Nvidia to hold this midline 174.x, and I don't quite expect Nvidia to go back to the really lows 164s. So I think Nvidia in this range is a good day trade. Come down here, break this, maybe play this. So I think that will be what it's doing. But I think today and tomorrow are going to be so important for the markets. I think we will have to be patient to see what's happening. Let's take a look at ES one more time before we close it out. Yeah, so they are hugging this really important area. And if you ask me what happens if they lose that area, we're gonna test prior day lows. So your eyes should be on the, oh, this is 8 p.m. lows, I'm sorry, prior days lows, meaning that I'm talking about this guy right here, afternoon lows. Okay, so test this guy from 8 p.m. and test this guy. If they cannot go back above this, let's call it this main pivot point, which is 67.39 for the day. All right, I'll see you guys in Discord. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace.